This man went from the last pick in the draft, Mr. Irrelevant, to leading the San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl in just 2 years. Out of Iowa State, an absolute legend. Ladies and gentlemen, Brock Purdy.
Yeah!
How are you, Brock?
What's up, guys?
Hey,
Doing good.
It is an honor to have you on this program. I want to let you know, we're big fans over here. What you have accomplished in such a short time, in the way that you've done it, in the demeanor in which you've handled it all. Hey, we love a good Brock party. We love you, man. We are big fans. I hope you know that and feel the love from over here.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, I've had family and friends send over clips from you guys, and I appreciate all the love and support, so it means a lot.
Hey, okay, well, we got a nice deer right there across your chest. And I know today's a big day, okay, because a few months back, I think we saw you, taking the tractor another round. But today, we're making this thing official, right? You're officially partnering with John Deere. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir. We're doing a campaign right now. So basically, they've created a chief tractor officer job. It's a real job, and all you got to do is submit a video on the John Deere website to apply. And what it is basically you become the face of John Deere on social media. So real job. If you want it, it's out there. You take videos and do all the behind the scenes work of farmers and the tractors in John Deere. You do the dirty work, so it's a real thing.
CTO's trying to get knee-high by the 4th of July.
That's right.
That could be you. I mean, what a gig. This sounds like a dream for somebody. Numerous people that I know are going to try to get it. Actual job, actually being paid.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a real job and everything. So it's I think it's a year contract, but, dude, you get to go around the whole country and live the life. So
as we know, though, every contract's day-to-day.
That's right.
Every contract's day to day. You got to put your best foot forward every single day and continuing to prove it and earn it. Shout out to you and shout out to John Deere getting it, by the way. Shout out to John Deere.
I always do.
That's awesome. And we're big John Deere fans as well. This is almost we're climaxing as this entire conversation is going. Let's talk about you now and the reason why John Deere wants to partner with you. And we saw you, I think, on First Take last week, and it didn't work because you didn't have any service. You're out in the middle of the field. But I think it was with Toyota or Honda. What was it?
Toyota, yes, sir.
Okay, so Toyota, John Deere, I assume there's going to be others. And this is something that happened with Russell Wilson years back because he was a fourth rounder. So his contract, obviously, nowhere near the same as other people. What you are getting paid because you're a seventh round pick, Mr. Irrelevant, versus what every other starting quarterback's getting paid, we're happy to see you getting your cash, okay? Happy to see that.
Yeah, bro.
Now, with that being said, why do you think you were able to just kind of drop in there and figure it out? Shanahan's offense is obviously a lot. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of things happening. There's number 3 overall picks that couldn't handle that offense. There's other people that haven't been able to handle that offense. You come in here and you're the most efficient, seemingly quarterback that Kyle Shanahan has ever had in the offense. Why do you think that's the case, and why do you two seem to have it down? And why does that offense hum whenever you're in there, you think, Brock?
Man, I mean, it's not all me. I've had really good coaches around me, like Greasy and Kubiak. Those guys, they from day one, they invested their time to teaching me. So that's first. But other than that, man, it's just been it's a grind of studying. It's like another language with this offense, and you can never be too familiar with it. Like, it's always going to be where you have to continue to learn it and grow with it. But I don't know. Shanahan's just been able to break it down to me, and for me, I've learned so much just in football in general, just how he thinks and processes things, and so we've clicked in that regard. And then obviously, I just go out there. I try to keep it simple for how complicated the offense is, and distribute it to the guys that are all around me. I got dudes around me, so put all those things together and you have some success.
Well, the dudes around you, and as you continue to chat here, you do look like a 12-year-old. I mean,
a little bit.
This baby face, this baby face is phenomenal. I look like I'm 50. I have looked like I'm 50 since I'm like 15. You have the opposite thing kind of taken over. As you get older, you're looking younger. But when you talk about the dudes around you, that's kind of been held against you. And have you heard all the noise and all the chatter about how they judge you? And I think our big takeaway is, like, not only is he Mr. Irrelevant, so let's not even, that conversation's done, whatever. Greatest Mr. Irrelevant of all time. Not even a question. But you're a rookie handle in business. It's like this is a young quarterback doing things, going into big games and operating at a high level. And then second year, you back it up yet again. But you still have a lot of people just burying you on a regular basis. Do you hear that? Do you try to keep it out? How can you in the modern world? And what are your thoughts on how you've been judged since you got into the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing, obviously. It's part of the sport, and I'm not saying, oh, woe is me or anything like that. I mean, it's part of it, man, and people are always going to have a talking point, and that's fine. But for me, man, all I care about is the respect with the guys in the locker room, with the coaches, the staff, the organization, and they see, how I handle business here and how I perform in games and what's on the film rather than just feelings and opinions and emotions. You turn on the film, like there's plays being made. There's a guy that's playing quarterback for what it is, and that's how I look at it. And as long as we're winning games, dude, it really don't matter. Like I keep it simple and we just keep moving the ball forward, and that's how I look at it. But it's part of it. So.
Amen. You're a check down king, but your yards per attempt's like number one in the league or something. So, everything kind of is hypocritical to itself in the middle of the argument. And I'm very happy that you have the mental toughness to kind of just keep forging forward. How do you continue to develop? What do you continue to get better at? Obviously, you have this keyhole accuracy. I mean, you pull.
Yeah.
Now, Ty Schmidt, who asked you a question in a matter of moments, said you can never beat Iowa, but that's neither here nor there. As soon as you get it, that's what he'll say. I'm just telling you what you can prepare for that. I know you're a big prepared guy. It's coming. It's coming right down the pipe there. But you put the ball right in the keyhole. Whenever you have to make an audible or read a defense, you do it. You throw the ball deep. You throw the ball short. Ayuk right there on the money. Let's follow the Niners again on Instagram, maybe. But through all of it, what do you continue to work at to get better? And what does this offseason look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's an evolution, just with your body in the NFL. I mean, there's obviously continue to work on my arm and just mobility with my body in itself and maybe just get a little bit more agile with speed and all that. But physically, there's always going to be more room for improvement. And so that's where I'm attacking this offseason. Then just the playbook, like I said, man, it's something that you got to continue to study and work at and to get better with how Kyle sees the game, man. If you're on point with who's calling the plays and why he's calling them, then I feel like, our relationship can continue to grow and then we can really be a dominant force in this league. So that's where I'm at. You can never get comfortable in this league. You'll get exposed real quick. And so it's always, finding that chip on your shoulder and continue to push. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, Niners faithful is going to be pumped to hear that, obviously. Everything you've done since you've gotten the job as a starting quarterback for the Niners has just been like, that's what we're looking for. As a young buck, especially one that doesn't have a lot of money, I think you have money. You're paid very well. I get it. But I think you're splitting roommate. You have a roommate, splitting lease and everything like that. As this young guy, has it been tough in that locker room full of dudes as a quarterback to be the leader? Because a quarterback, you're immediately put in a leadership role. You're the one who has to tell the plays. You're the one that has to get on people's ass. We saw you get a little fiery. I think George Kittle even told us, I saw Brock, get after a couple people, and George was like, I need to see that. That is what I need to see. Has it been difficult to be a guy that just wants to make team, guy that's not been really handed anything, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we need you to be a leader of adults here, not just adults, some of the highest paid guys at almost every single position. Has that been an easy transition for you, and how do you handle all of that?
I mean, since I got here day one, it's been about, how can I, show these guys that I can play and earn their respect and not come in with a puffed out chest saying I'm the guy, follow me. It's been a process. It was obviously came in as a third guy, then the backup, and then starter. So, but how I've handled my process hasn't changed, and I think the guys respect that. And I'm a guy that wants to help serve this team and help win at all costs. Before, even when I was backup all the way till now as a starter, it's been the same thing. So they know that, they feel it, and so once I got thrown into the role, man, they've gone behind me and we're like, all right, this kid wants to win and he's capable of leading us. So it sort of was about the way I carried myself rather than all the raw stuff. So but yeah, it's different because I was the last draft pick to obviously now we're leading this team and you got so many veterans like Fred Warner, George Kittle, Juice, all these guys that have been here for a while, and now all of a sudden I gotta go in the huddle and lead them and tell them what to do kind of thing. And so, but they've been great with it, man. They've got behind me, and I got just some dudes that they want to win, and so do I, and that's the ultimate goal. So in that regard, they've made it easy for me.
Do you feel like when Bosa came up to you, he's like, how you do it? I'm the number one overall pick, and I get nervous, and how do you? have you always been just stone cold killer? Legit. In those massive games, you play your best football. Has this been your entire life? Do you think like you were just built differently? Do you look back in a moment like maybe when you were a kid playing like youth baseball where they're throwing way too much?
Way too much.
Pitchers are throwing way too many pitches at the young age. Jeff Passan wrote a book on it.
He did.
Okay, it's ruining elbows in the MLB. But anyway, is there any moment where you look back where you've always had like kind of this stone cold killer mentality?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Growing up and stuff, there's been moments in Little League and high school where, there were some big plays that I made in moments, but obviously there's been plays that don't go my way. So it's, do you get too high with it? Do you get too low with it? It's a game, it's 4 quarters. And so for me, it's been about, and it's a long season too. So it's been about, dude, how can I continue to get better? How can I enjoy the little wins and learn from the losses? But guys feed that, they feel it. And obviously, like in that moment, Bosa was just like, dude, how the heck do you do it?
But, an alien, bro. Like, what's going on? Because I get nervous. And he's a specimen. That's a jungle cat.
Yeah.
That dude's a jungle cat.
Dude, different. Day one, I got here my rookie year, and everyone's like, bro, just wait till you see Bosa come in and report. And I'm like, all right. He came walking in, I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen someone that big.
Never seen a human built like that. Yeah, like my first day in the building, I saw Robert Mathis, shirtless, headphones in, jumping rope, and he didn't break a skip for 15 minutes straight. I'm like, what's wrong with that? Hey, I'm in the same team as that guy. I don't know if that's necessarily the right moves in this all. Ty Schmidt has a question for you, Brock.
Yeah, Brock, Pat mentioned it. I'm an Iowa grad, so, it pains me. Listen, it's really cool seeing what you've done with the Niners, but it does pain me a little bit knowing that you were never able to beat Iowa. And, people are always going to bring that up. They're always going to talk about that. No matter how many Super Bowls you win, no matter what you do, people are kind of always going to point to that and say, hey, this guy could never beat Iowa. But
Brock, I don't think that's true.
I'm just saying.
I don't think they're going to bring that up.
I'm just saying. I definitely will. So while I love gassing you up and watching you play, I will always be talking about that. But that's neither here nor there. I am curious, though. Playing all those games at Iowa State, now with the draft, a lot of people are talking about how if you're not one of those, top 10 guys, how important it is that you play all those games as opposed to some of these guys who are getting drafted high and they might need a year or two to kind of develop before they're actually ready to play. Because you started so much, how much do you attribute that to your success and being able to, when you were called upon that first year, just jumping right into things and no moment was too big and you were kind of just ready to go right away?
Yeah, it's huge. Just the reps that you get, the defenses that you see, just all of it, the moments that you're in from the beginning of a game to the end or a 2-minute drill, all that stuff, man. I think it's crucial just in terms of development. Seeing a defense and being able to handle the pressures of success during a year, the losses, all of it, man. There's so much that goes into playing this position at quarterback. And so, when I got thrusted in the role, yes, we're in the NFL, it's on another level, and I'm not taking anything away from that. It's legit and it's real. But I sort of sunk back into, all right, dude, I played 4 years of legit Power 5 football, and, I faced a lot of things, and I could go back to those experiences and be ready for, big games and stuff in the NFL as well. But I think it's huge for development, man. You see guys leaving early and stuff, and I'm not taking that away from them. But guys that see a lot of football and play and develop, I think can translate to the NFL and be ready to play quicker. So
don't you think it helps immensely whenever you have a bad couple weeks too, getting out of a drought, having enough self-belief that you can get out of it? Because last year, Debo out, Trent out. Right, Cleveland, and then that was when they started killing you. This is what we thought Brock was. This is what all the scouts were saying that Brock was. But then all of a sudden you flip a switch on the other side of it. It's that doesn't define me. Just because I had a couple weeks where I wasn't necessarily throwing the ball as perfect as I had, I'm going to be able to bounce back. Do you think that's because of how much football you played in the past?
100%, man. If everything's going perfect, from college to the NFL, you're winning all these games, man. I think it's easier to, get away with some things. But dude, if you go through stuff and you have some adversity in your life and then you face that 3-game losing streak that we had or whatever, that's when the real person of you comes out and people really see you for who you are. So I think it's crucial, man, to go through some adversity and be able to rely and go back to that down the road, and I don't know, man, it just shapes you. It helps you, no matter what people say.
Shout out to the Hawkeyes, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Faced a lot of adversity.
Yeah,
I would
shout
say.
out to
That's right.
I didn't even think about that until we kind of pieced it together.
Bingo. You're welcome. You're welcome, Brock.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Hey, I'll pray for you Hawkeyes, man. That's all I gotta say.
Get on that John Deere and pray to the heavens that the Hawkeyes can get a first down maybe next year. That'd be great. Tone has a question for you, Brock.
Yeah, Brock, I don't think your athleticism is talked about enough.
Why is that?
Well, I'm not sure if you know, but you have the same 10-yard split as Christian McCaffrey.
Whoa.
Okay? He plays on your team. Not sure if you know him. He's really athletic, so that means you're really athletic. And then in that Lions game, you just took over with the feet. Have you
Killed
thought
him.
about throwing for 4,000 and rushing for 1,000 as well this season? Like, why we need to get out of the pocket a little bit more, don't you think?
Yep.
I mean, if it happens, it happens. Scramble drill, all that, I'm all for it. But hopefully Kyle's watching this and we can put in some zone read and have a couple more rounds.
Kyle's not watching this, but we'll certainly try to clip it and send it
There
to
we
the
go.
Niners people. I like the thought of Brock Purdy reading the end. Could you? Brock, you got a little wiggle too. We saw it in Detroit.
Yeah.
You got a little wiggle. Basketball player or no?
Nah, just baseball.
What position? Pitcher?
Yeah, pitch and play third.
Did you have some nasty shit?
Corner.
I was controllable for sure, so I controlled the game.
So, like most NFL quarterbacks, you ask them if they played baseball. They just, I don't want to say they assume they could have went professional as baseball players, but I think a lot of us just assume that they could. Could you have done the baseball route if you would have went that way, you think?
Yeah, I think, I mean, not to make a bold claim or anything, but, I think I could have, gone D1 and then make a run at it for the pros. But, after my sophomore year in high school, I was like, all right, I'm playing football. So that's just how it went.
I like that. It's a bold claim. Who cares? It will never be proved.
Yeah, could have been.
We do it every day. You should see. I make bold claims all the time that would never be able to be proven. It's awesome. It's a pretty sweet little gig, actually. Darius has a question for you, Brock.
Yeah, Brock, you just mentioned kind of that read option, maybe putting a little bit more of that in the offense. You got one of the best combos of the head coach and the GM positions. I know you're only going into your third year, but how much input do you have on that offense with Kyle throughout the week? And then in the offseason, maybe any input with the roster with John Lynch? I know you are young. Top receiver, one of the most coveted receivers right now with Ayuk. Obviously some things going on. So any input there on those regards to the offense and obviously the roster?
Yeah, I mean, to answer your first question, just as I've played more and more, that he asked me, like what I'm comfortable with and what I'm not. But man, at the same time, I'm still learning, and so he just comes to me, obviously puts in the offense through the week, and I'm all for it, and I'm all ears, and I'm learning. But then I'm like, all right, like I'm not really comfortable with this. Let's not run it. Let's run more of this. So he listens for sure, which is awesome. And then in terms of like the roster input and stuff, man, if you just look at the history of Lynch and Kyle and Jed York, everybody, they've done a great job with putting the right roster together and having success and making runs at Super Bowls. So for me, that's above my pay grade, but I trust in what they do. And obviously, like just with this whole Ayuk thing, man, it's I was just grateful that I was able to throw to him and be a teammate with BA. So I love him and I want the best for him. But like I said, it's out of my pay grade for the business side of things.
Well, not if we put the John Deere contract in there.
Yeah, bingo.
Yeah, if we put the John Deere money in there, then the pay grade all of a sudden a little bit different.
Yeah, right.
All of a sudden we're at a different ladder, aren't we?
Toyota.
Oh, yeah.
Add that in
They
there.
had terrible phone service, though. He didn't even get 2 words out.
No.
Skims. I think he's doing skims too.
What? You're a skip?
No
Yeah.
way.
Oh, no. That's Bosa, dude.
Huh?
That's Bosa.
That's smart not to
Skins?
do that. Yeah, if Bosa's doing that, it's smart not to get in
Yeah,
that game.
probably.
In the
away.
same locker room, because we're already talking about that entire thing. I do appreciate, though, that, you're like, hey, I'm still very young trying to learn this. I have to be a leader. That's a lot of delicate balances, politically, behind the scenes, in the locker room. Got to make sure everybody has balls, because you talk about all the weapons you have. Got to make sure everybody's happy and keep them happy and everything like that. You're doing a fantastic job. That's why, like, legit, anybody saying anything negative has no idea the job that you have to do. I will say, though, do you think watching Jimmy work for a little bit, you got to see like a veteran quarterback behind the scenes, in the locker room, in the meeting room, maybe telling Kyle, I don't like this play. Do you think that was a benefit to your entire thing, watching Jimmy work?
100%, man. Just obviously the preparation that goes into this offense and seeing, Jimmy, the way he handled it, and, going out on the field and not trying to win every single play, but make the right play over and over again, and then his fundamentals, all of it, man. The good and the bad that comes from playing this position at this organization with the history that the Niners have had at quarterback. So just seeing it firsthand and how Jimmy handled all of it, man, was huge for me. So, and then obviously I didn't get my opportunity until week 13, so I had a whole season really to see how he handled it. So I'm very thankful and grateful for Jimmy.
George Kittle's happy that you got dropped in there too. Remember, it was as soon as he got.
Oh yeah.
We're in Seattle. I think I saw the Seattle game in Seattle. George had 2 tuds. I think he had one like the first drive. He went down there and went crazy. It was like your connection with him was immediate. What an electrifying human being George Kittle is. How good does it feel to have that psychopath on your side? Legit.
No, dude, he does such a good job with just obviously reminding all of us that, dude, we're playing a game, man. We love this game, and he's like a kid still, but I love it. And playing tight end, dude, I think is probably the second most, intense position just behind the quarterback. Like, they have to know everything, the run game, the pass game. They got to make catches. They got to make blocks. And George brings all that to the table, and he's the best in the league at it. And so, and then obviously he's a psycho when you get him the ball and he scores touchdowns and in interviews. But that's who he is, man. We love him.
Yeah, I forget. I asked him. I was like, "Wasn't that game where you caught a ball, ran through a guy?" I do it every game. Hey, you're right, George. You're right. I was wishing George would get into the ring at WrestleMania. His vibes are always immaculate. I could imagine that day to day he lifts them. Connor has a question about the season we're in right now.
Yeah, Brock, obviously right now, it's combine and draft season rather, and as pick 262 and a Pro Bowler, you know that everything that's being talked about is 100% true, and all the players that they're projecting are going to be exactly how well they are depending on where they're drafted. But when you're going through, the draft process and you're hearing things being said about you, how do you kind of stay locked in? And did you do anything specific to kind of block all that stuff out? And for the kids doing it now, is there anything that you would tell them, like, hey, if you do go 262, it's not the end of the world. There is hope on the other side of that draft pick?
Yeah, only like 1 or 2 guys in history. But yeah, there is hope. There is hope for sure, Brock, for sure.
Yeah, I think, for me, I always knew, like, dude, wherever I go, no matter how I get there, like, that's all that matters, like, what I do when I get there. And so I kept that in mind. Ryan Fitzpatrick told me that, before the day three started of the draft. And that was so true, though, man. Like, it didn't matter how I got there. And the minute I got here, it was all about, all right, dude, how can I, find an edge? How can I continue to learn this playbook? How can I compete and show these guys here that I belong? And all the talk of should he get drafted here, like, none of that matters, man. What matters is when you get here and you make the team and you win games. And that's how I've looked at it, even before I got drafted, and that's how I still look at it. So.
Yeah, once you get in the building, you have an opportunity. Now, there's certainly a head start if you're drafted early. Yeah. The bank account, the house, the car, the setup, But none of them are driving John Deeres to work. That's right. It's a little different down there at 262. I think I saw a video, probably the commercial shoot for John Deere that you're definitely, unless you're just driving around a fucking tractor around San Francisco. You saved a reporter. A coyote was coming during a John Deere shoot. A coyote started tracking down a local CBS reporter and her dog. And Brock Purdy, here's the video right here. It's a photo. They spell your name wrong on the right corner. Purdy's new gig. Don't love that. Back on his tractor, but this lady right here, I watched this video this morning. She said, I just happened upon Brock Purdy and a couple offensive linemen and John Deere tractors in the middle of San Francisco. And then funny story, I was walking my dog away and I hear Brock Purdy yell, "Coyote!" I turn around, biggest coyote I ever seen was stalking me and my dog or whatever. You saved a life, you saved a dog, you shot a John Deere tractor commercial in San Francisco, you're pick 262, leading a team to the Super Bowl in your second year. You're a magic man, Brock. Keep going, brother. We appreciate the hell out of you.
Appreciate you guys. Yeah, I can't believe that was a real thing, but yeah, she walked by and then sure enough, she said she's a news anchor, and I was like, dude, I just saved a news anchor's life from getting eaten by a coyote, but it's real, man. I can confirm it. So
she said that coyote was like the biggest. She said like big ass. I didn't know San Francisco had coyote. What the hell's going on over there?
I didn't either, dude. We're shooting this commercial by a hill on the outside of the city, and I see this thing, trotting by, and it had a long tail. I was like, bro, it looks like a mini wolf. And sure enough, no one was gonna scream, and I was like, all right. And so I screamed, and I was like, yo, there's a coyote, and that thing went running off. But yeah, it could have been an ugly day on the shoot, but we saved her.
Hey, that's Brock Purdy football.
That's right.
That's Brock Purdy football out there. Purdy. Hey, we appreciate the hell out of you, man. Enjoy OTAs and congrats on the John Deere deal. Let's find a CTO.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right. Let's find it. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for all the love and support too.
Hey, here's him getting into his tractor.
Oh, I love it.
Hey, hey, you're dressed. You know you look like every time you put something on to go to the game or just walk about life, you know everybody's going to be like, look at this basic-ass accountant about to go for 300 yards against your beef. You know that? You know that, Brock?
Yeah, no, it's a thing, but I love it, dude. It's a good little mantra.
Look how cool you look, just walking in and out of like some professor's class, just walking into a stadium, about to hang 400 yards on your team, and I'm going to walk out of here and hop in my John Deere tractor.
Amen.
We appreciate the hell out of you, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, Brock Purdy. Congrats, buddy.
Yeah, bro.
I love that man.
Yeah.
What a beast.